we are here with another episode of OnlyStans with just a pioneer, just a trailblazer of the OnlyFans world, and just one of the greatest comedians ever, and just a massive fan. Very excited. Whitney Cummings is here, which is better wasn't what you were expecting today. So Whitney Cummings is here.
Porn star name,
comedy legend, now OnlyFans queen. I guess you are on OnlyFans. This is an OnlyFans show. Whitney, first question I'm going to ask you. I ask every guest this because I feel like it's the proper thing to talk about whenever you meet somebody for the first time. Where are you from?
I'm from Washington, D.C., born, but I lived half in D.C., half in like rural Virginia, a place called Roanoke, Virginia.
Is that where the colony was?
You know what? No, but I had forgotten that because like, you know how like everything we learned in school now they're saying wasn't true? It's like Christopher Columbus, he discovered America. Now they're like, no, he just raped everyone. Yeah. And like now it's like, because remember there was a Roanoke colony that disappeared. That's
the whole thing. They left the Jamestown colony.
That was like a different thing. That was in like South Carolina or something. This is Roanoke, Virginia, which is more like north. But okay. I don't know. I'm questioning everything we learn now. DC, it seems like it was all like a lot of gossip.
Yeah, I've always wondered that. I was actually trying to Google that the other day because it was the Ides of March.
Yeah.
And I was trying to Google how the fuck do we know what the Ides of March is? That happened in 44 BC. And I couldn't find anything.
Nothing. It's all like a big guess, but let's all just whatever pretend.
I kept Googling how did we find out about the Ides of March and no one told me how. Apparently it just happened.
Yeah. If you ask why or like press, like when someone tells you something like why, like it all falls apart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Zero sense. I just want to know how we found out about the Ides of March. How do we know what happened on March 15th? 44 BC.
There's no way. No way of knowing.
Zero chance.
No way of knowing.
But anyway, this is an OnlyFans show, so we will begin with discussing OnlyFans. You recently joined OnlyFans. You're doing a roast series, the roast of Bert Kreischer. Great guy.
And then the next roast, that one's already streaming. And then the roast of me is going to come out on Mother's Day, May 14th.
Did you record that yet? Who are the roasters?
It's Jim Norton. He's on both, obviously, because I really wanted comics only to be on the show. Like roasts, when they were on Comedy Central, they started.
Yeah, I have a question about that.
Well, they started being like celebrities and like Pam Anderson and shit like that, where it's like, that's lovely, but it's like boxing. I mean, like, you know, basically roast is like verbal MMA. And if you've got, you know, heavyweights like comics, and then you've got sort of like featherweights, which would be celebrities in terms of like being able to like roast, like it's going to feel mean. It's going to feel awkward, you know, like why are we pummeling Pam Anderson? You know, it just feels like looking back, I see how it felt mean and sort of like cringy. So I wanted only comics, everybody in the same weight class, you know. So mine is, I had a Hannah Stocking host who is more like in the digital sort of.
Super famous.
You know.
I saw her before, 24 million followers. I was looking at your Instagram.
Dude.
Yeah.
Hannah Stocking is so famous. But we're famous with different people. One of my favorite games is when we go out in public, like someone will walk up to us and they'll either know her or me, but never both.
Yes.
And someone will be walking up. I'm like, I feel like this is a you. This is definitely you. Blue hair. It's you. It's like, nah, Whitney. And I'm like, gee, like no one knows both of us, which is like, we're such different kind of worlds, but do similar things. And I really wanted to marry like the digital content creator, like comedy space with like the old school comics who, you know, cause there's some tension, you know. I had Trevor Wallace host Bert Kreischer's because I just kind of wanted to show like, look, like, if I was starting now, I'd have to do that shit. I'd be doing TikTok and I'd be doing sketches and like, you know, it's not something that appeals to me now, but it's like a
so
necessary evil.
About as a comic, like a classic comic that you have to do in TikTok.
Not even
doing
that.
TikTok now,
but it's also like that's at least creative. Like if someone told me 15 years ago when I signed up to do comedy, hey, like in 15 years you're gonna have to like promote yourself, literally like, hey guys, I'm gonna be at Casino Pachanga next weekend. Swipe up. Like I would have never done it because being a comedian is basically. We do it to control how you're embarrassed because our biggest fear is embarrassment. Like nothing's more embarrassing than having to fucking look into your phone and beg people to come to Fargo. It's just like, ugh, I hate myself. How did you decide to start doing a podcast about OnlyFans talent or with OnlyFans talent?
So what happened was basically like about a year ago, like today, actually, not today, but last March, my buddy was doing a show here.
I like your brain. You have a brain that's like, you can't lie.
No, I don't.
That's like how stand-ups are. You'll be like last year in like March I did this thing, and if you know it wasn't March, you have to be like, well, it was April, but like no one would care about that lie, but you had to clarify
I like
it.
dates. I like knowing dates.
I know, but it's like your brain has to stop to make sure something's true.
But it was like basically about a year ago around this time, and my buddy used to do like a show here, like a daily show, where he would just interview random people throughout their walks of life or whatever. And I think like maybe last January or February, again with the dates, I think it was like January 15th. I randomly wrote a blog about like OnlyFans power rankings of the week, like just like talking about like my 5 favorite OnlyFans girls.
And then were you just on there as a fan?
Yeah, just literally just as I just saw how many people were talking about it. So I was like, you know what, let me write a blog about like my favorite OnlyFans models. And then one of them saw the blog and just DM'd me. She was like, hey, I'm in New York if you want to collab on something. And then, so I told my buddy, I was like, hey, this girl, Mati, wants to come on to do anything with Barstool. Can I bring her on your show? And his show was getting like 5,000 views a day. And then we brought her on and it got like 50,000 views in like 5 hours. Wow. And I was like, you know what? Turns out everybody's pretty horny. Got it. Yeah, it turns out a lot of people are horny. So we just kept doing it. And
But what is the common denominator? Because being in the OnlyFans space, it's like, I'm still like my profile. I haven't really been able to like service because I've been working on the roast. So it's like they came to me for their first like OnlyFans TV deal. And I was so, first of all, the fact that they came to me, I just thought was like cool in a way because, well, number one, working in like Hollywood for so long, it was like OnlyFans, like looking at what they were doing, I was like, they've already paid more women than any studio or network. Like, and it's like, I went on there and I see these like teachers making money to like pay for school supplies and like supplement their income. Cause every time you go to school now, like, it's like you could be shot in the face by, you know, well, in both ways, getting shot in the face on your OnlyFans or to pay for your life insurance when you get shot in the face by a school shooter, whatever it is. And then like I go on Instagram and my friends are doing the same stuff for free. And I'm like, if you're gonna wear a bikini, at least get paid for it. It's so much more humiliating and embarrassing to be doing it for free.
There's one girl I know that I'm good friends with, been friends with her for a while. And I'm on record saying I think she's the most beautiful girl in the country.
That is a weird statistic.
No,
but not the world.
I just think she's like.
But no, I like the country. It's like Canada. The jury's still out on whether she's the most beautiful in Canada.
I'm like, you are. I'm not even saying this in like a horny way. I'm just saying it like.
I haven't been to Mexico yet, so I'm not willing to say continent.
Maybe Canada too. But she posts like a very revealing pictures, and I'm like, dude, just post it on OnlyFans, and you'll be making hundreds of thousands of dollars. It makes me.
Well, yeah, and it's like when women complain about like gender pay gap, it's like there are certain areas where you can make radically more. Just take advantage of it.
But I'm just like, you're literally posting it anyway. Just post.
Whatever. Yeah, and then a lot of guys, it's like, you know, I mean, a lot of guys from what I understand are also just because I had a robot in my fourth special.
I know, I'm excited.
So I built, which I'm going to get her on OnlyFans. I did recently find out that she has a vagina hole. I mean, I knew she had one, but I had never fingered it because she feels like my child or something, like a robot that like looks like me.
How you do the tax documents for the OnlyFans?
But how about that? But what am I saying? Getting her on OnlyFans is like a whole thing. But where am I going with this? I had like a very good point about being on OnlyFans and seeing that like a lot of guys are just kind of more like it's not all just like finger fucking my pussy. Jesus Christ, sorry, I respect nothing in here. Portnoy just made $800 grand. You got your $1 million or what was it that he sold it for? And so I like got really into the robot chat rooms and like the sex doll chat rooms. Like when I was trying to like figure out my take on like sex robots, are they going to ruin things for us? Are they going to like take women's whatever? Are they going to take men away from us? And I went in the chat rooms undercover, and so many of the guys that have sex robots, number one, they say, I can't afford a girlfriend right now because having a girlfriend's expensive. Or they just say, I don't want to get my heart broken again. They're lonely, they're handicapped. Like it was not the reasons that I thought, like I just want to fuck a plastic pussy and pretend it's, you know, that bitch from high school who fuck, you know, it wasn't like that. And then I think OnlyFans the same thing. Some of the biggest creators, they kind of just like do laundry and like sing and walk around.
It's great. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, that's
like cam girls.
That's the whole thing. It's just everything's just behind a paywall. It's the easiest thing in the world.
But not with OFTV because I also with jokes, because I was like, I'm not going to post my tits. Like I'm not going to be, no one wants to see me naked. I mean, I'm sure like it'd be like funny, but like I was like, instead of dirty photos or dirty videos, my private profile is going to be dirty jokes. Jokes that I can't tell anywhere else because like now you'll get canceled if you say tranny, or like trying to like work out new bits that I'm worried aren't ready yet. I'm like, why don't I do that on OnlyFans? And then they can tell me like if it's worth pursuing, but it's going to be something that's like would be offensive if I put it anywhere else.
And then you could sue people if they like steal it and post it elsewhere.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You could sue a lot of people on OnlyFans.
Well, because I just was like, there's a lot of like roast jokes. Like every time I perform, I go to the city and I'll write roast jokes about the city at the end.
So I'm excited to talk about that.
And I'll just go like so hard at every city. And then I kind of have no place to put them. And if I were to tweet them, they're going to be taken out of context. And people go out of their way to intentionally misunderstand something out of like justify being offended or whatever. So I was like, why don't I just do this on OnlyFans? Because like jokes are not, comedians start fucking up. We started writing our jokes out on Twitter. Like jokes aren't supposed to be read at work at 2 PM. You're supposed to like go into a basement, have a couple drinks, and watch a comedian like deliver a joke in a dark room. So I was like, what's the equivalent of like a dark room?
That's
like,
very fair.
It's like you go to OnlyFans and you're like, I'm already here. Like, you know, and also stand-up started like in strip clubs, like sex work and stand-up, same. I mean, I go to strip clubs in LA a lot. My favorite one is Crazy Girls on La Brea. You have to come when you come out to
I would
LA.
love to.
It's the best.
I'm also a basic bitch. I always say this. It's too basic. I love Entourage, and I know they go to Crazy Girls and Entourage. But
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, that's so. Well, Entourage. I didn't really see Entourage.
Oh my God.
Although Jeremy Piven is doing stand up now, so you can also enjoy the comedy stylings of him if you come to LA. But the Crazy Girls is more like a bikini bar. You know, like 'cause
No.
it's more like. They're in like pasties, but it's actually way more fun.
I don't want this. So my mom, one of my things I've been pitching on the show is a fully clothed strip club. I hope it's not that.
I think that's just called a comedy club. So then they came to me and they were like, they had, here's a budget to make 2 pieces of content for OnlyFans TV. And I'm like, what am I going to make? So they were like 2 15-minute pieces. And I'm like, I don't really know what to do with that. Like I create shows, I do specials. And I was like, why don't we just bring back the roast? Because like a white guy can't do it. Everyone's like, we can't do roast anymore. And I'm like, fuck that, dude. After Will Smith got like punched my friend in the face and no one stood up, it just pissed me off. And then the narrative was like, comics are mean, comics punch down. It's like, nah, like I just wanted to come back with like hard roast and just like let comedians be uncensored and go for it because like comedy fans want to laugh.
Couldn't agree anymore. I'm a massive fan of every roast. I'm excited to talk about it, and hell yeah. I'm very excited. I'm actually going to watch it tonight.
There were a lot of OnlyFans creators that came. Angela White came.
We just had her on 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God, I love her. I'm obsessed.
She was a walking angel. She was an angel.
She's so funny.
I'm obsessed with her. She was the best guest you ever had by far, and she was just absolutely amazing.
She glows.
She really does.
Yeah,
she was amazing. I've met a lot of porn stars, obviously. She is.
And also porn stars like
her.
are fascinating because it's like when you do like what we do when you're forward facing, there's all these different kinds of fame. Like when I was working on a movie that I directed and Blake Griffin was in it, plays for the Clippers.
Great guy.
And like so funny too. He's really fucking funny and talented. He actually did stand up in Montreal once, like did a roast one. And like you see these different kinds of fame, like I have friends that are really famous from TV shows, but famous from podcasts, like the way people come up to, us like as podcasters, they're like we're best friends. They'll be like, hey, what's going on? Like, how are you? And what's going on with so-and-so? Like they'll know your business. And then movie stars, I'll see fans will be like, oh, look, that's that girl from that thing. Like they won't bother them, And then like Blake Griffin sports has a type of fame that's like a deity level fame.
He's also so fucking tall.
Yeah, it's so hard to miss. But but there's a fame that also has like a concern in it of like people will go up to him and be like, what are you doing out, man? Your knee isn't even healed. What are you doing? And like it's like he can't go out because it's like he's so famous and his injuries are so famous that anyone that
he's also gotten mainstream famous too.
Totally, like commercials and stuff. And then porn star famous. Like I did a show for HBO pilot and I put Jenna Jameson in it.
Oh yeah.
And there's crew members on Hollywood Productions. They've met every celebrity. They've been around everyone. They don't give a shit. When Jenna Jameson came onto the set, it was like, no, because this was also someone that had been famous for so long. This was like guys like childhood.
Up, when I think porn, I think Jenna.
It was like their first jerk off.
Yes.
Like they lost their jerk off virginity. Like people were fumbling mid. Like people couldn't
100%.
put a sentence together. I was watching this crew fall apart, and I was like, just the destabilizing from that like intimacy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But let me ask you, what's going on? Like, do you fall for like one girl? Like, do you feel like committed to one girl in a way?
You mean like on the show?
No, like on like OnlyFans. Like I know a lot of people that like have like one porn star that they kind of are weirdly like loyal to.
I don't really like watch it.
Oh.
People like think I do. I really like don't.
But you kind of just like more.
The whole idea to me of OnlyFans is like that it's people you've been following for so long that then started OnlyFans. Just the idea for originally is am I finally going to get to see this model naked?
I'm writing a bunch of jokes for Angela White to do to roast Burt Kreischer to
really?
Surprise him. So I'm having some of the porn stars like
I was gonna
because they're funny. They're like self-deprecating.
When did you record that?
We recorded it like the second week of December.
I've been seeing so many people post it. I was like, damn, that's a long time to hold everything to post. Looks like it happened the other night.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. We had like a big premiere party the other night. Like, I just want to really go for it. It's like, it's like this thing where like OnlyFans, like people like, especially in like my business comedy to like talk shit about OnlyFans. Like, what are you fucking doing, dude?
Dumb.
We're scumbags. We're all scumbags. Stop pretending you're
dumb.
like, and also it's like, right now Netflix, it's like, there's a certain algorithm you have to be in to get your special scene. YouTube, you'll be taken out of the algorithm for certain reasons. Like, the kind of jokes that we're making in here, like a spider program would remove them. So OnlyFans is kind of the only place that would allow like an truly uncensored thing to happen. No one gave us notes. Like usually there's just some bullshit that's like, hey, can you not say Coca-Cola? Can you say Pepsi? Because we have a deal. And you're just like, why the fuck does your deal with Pepsi have to affect this great joke? And I have to go tell Jim Norton that he can't do this joke because of some bullshit that has nothing to do with him, you know? So it was like, I just feel like people watching comedy, there's so many comedy fans that just want to fucking see real, raw, uncensored comedy, and they're being fed like bullshit that's been vetted by a bunch of lawyers that went to Colgate. Like, who are you? Like, I've just had to deal with so many of these motherfuckers for so long. I'm like, I'm straight up gonna go to where they do the gangbangs at this point. It's
Exactly.
the only place.
That's the point.
You know, and also it's like, I don't think anyone cares what something's on. Like, when's the last time you like, it's just a link, you go to the link.
If it's free. Especially if it's free. On the roast of Bert, there was Tony Hinchcliffe, Trevor Wallace, Donald Rawlings, Rachel Feinstein, I think
yes,
Jay Okerson.
and then mine, Bob the Drag Queen, Robin Tran, Annie Letterman, Dan Levy, Amanda Knox makes a surprise appearance, and then in Bert's, Kesha, Miranda Cosgrove. Like, I really wanted to feel like kind of a block party kind of vibe, where like anything can happen. So it's like Bert's favorite song for 10 years. He's come up to a Kesha song called "Die Young," and then he was like wasted by the end. But I had Kesha come out and like surprise him, and like I just kind of wanted it to be like the opposite of what the roast used to be, super super savage, but also like warm and fuzzy kind of at the end. And we had like a couple rules that were just like, let's not go down that, or let's not do like 40-year-old women are old joke. Not because it's not true or whatever. It's more like we've just seen it. Like, let's not do like guys are perverts if they're not. Like, I think that with like the reckoning in comedy with, you know, what happened with people getting busted with their behavior, like it just like wasn't funny. It just made people uncomfortable. So it's like we went to like, I think a lot of like new territories for comedy, which makes it feel like smart.
I think the best way is it's a good vibe show.
It's just a party, dude. I mean, we're not telling you how to vote. I don't have an agenda to lecture you on how to live your life. Stay inside, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. It's none of my business. I'm a fucking comedian. It's our job to be clowns and make people laugh. And I think like, you know, that's just what I want to do.
Be more of a fan of it. I'm definitely going to watch tonight. Sorry.
So what's Amanda Knox like in person?
She's the coolest.
I'm a huge fan after that doc came out.
Dude, Amanda Knox is so goddamn smart.
Yeah.
And I want to do a TV show with her. I want to talk to OnlyFans TV about it called Crafty. Because, you know, she was always said that she was crafty, you know, like a beautiful woman. She's a genius. She's like Martha Stewart.
Yeah, I follow her on Twitter. I like her a lot.
Do you know that she like sews costumes and, you know, she had a baby and they made the baby room. She sewed this, made like a spaceship. She like goes, like, she's like unbelievably crafty. There was a show that used to happen on MTV back in the day called House of Style, and models used to host it. Like, I really like looking at like the other iterations of what OnlyFans, like what was OnlyFans like 10 years ago? 20 years ago, like, was there anything similar that just looked different? But there was like a show called what I just said, House of Style, and it was like Naomi Campbell, Christy Turlington, Cindy Crawford, and they were like hosting a show about like making jeans into napkins, like a home show, which is like not what people want to see models doing necessarily. But people everyone's tried. Everyone's like tried to figure out what models do besides modeling.
I feel like models do a lot of stuff. I mean, I would rather watch. There's so many. I love food TV, obviously, shocking. I love food videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'd kind of rather see models doing the food tasting than half the people I watch do.
Maddie Matheson.
I love Maddie Matheson.
Who are your favorite chefs? Like, do you have?
Ooh, I have so many. Do you are you a Food Network person?
Kind of. I'm doing a project with Jose Andres, so I know some. And I'm going to Alinea I'm taking Alex from OnlyFans to Alinea on the 9th in Chicago.
Very I mean, I'm a big Food Network guy, so I like Guy.
Nice, okay.
I'm a big fan of Guy, and I've just been trying to infiltrate Guy's friend group recently.
Okay, I feel
so
like
all of Guy's
we
crew.
can make this happen.
Like Aaron May is my favorite chef. I love Aaron May, Christian Petroni, Eric Greenspan. Who are some other good ones? Jet Tila.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, I met Guy once. He called me a pussy.
Okay. But I feel like chefs are kind of dicks.
You know what I've learned from just like trying to hang out with some of them is that they are the hardest partying profession that I've come across by far. Also, because they were all doing like blow in their 20s, and they're biggest partiers ever.
And they're up and they're barking at people. They're like, you know, super stressed out, like moving at super high octane. I mean, Anthony Bourdain's book, like, dude, and he started dating like the head of the Me Too movement. I remember like, dude, that he fucking put up some numbers with those pastry chefs. Like, they're just in this enclosed space and just drinking and fucking each other.
Exactly. That's it too.
But when they say like Hollywood's like toxic work environment, when you see chefs, they're like, "Give me the fucking thing!" They just like scream at each other.
Restaurants, bars, and I feel like school faculties.
I had to stop watching The Bear because I'm just like, I can't relax doing this because that whole show is just them at
watch The Bear over stress.
That whole show is them at work being angry at each other. And like I experienced too much of that in my real life.
It's very like well executed.
Oh, it's awesome.
Like, you're like, why would I want to sign up to feel this way?
Now I could tell you're fucking Maddie Matheson hate.
No, I was kidding on that. I like Maddie.
I just think like it's a sandwich. Calm down. Like, it's a sandwich. Do you know what I'm saying?
So you didn't like the bear?
I did. I liked it. I just don't like signing myself up to be stressed out. Like, I love the performance.
It did feel like almost like a culinary Uncut Gems, I would say.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it just kind of was like, and then I get like in my head about stuff, like my OCD kicks up, and I have a really big thing, like growing up poor with wasting food, like a scarcity complex. When I'm on the road, if there's like I'm very specific about do not put any food out that I didn't ask for. Like, don't get a cutlet plate or any of that shit, because food going to waste drives me nuts. And like watching it, this is so psycho, but I was like, I hope that's fake food, because the crew better have eaten this out. Like, if they just cook this and throw it away. Did you ever see the movie Sex, Lies, and Videotape?
I've not.
It's worth watching, but it's like one of the first movies that was at Sundance in like the early 90s, just because I studied film. Steven Soderbergh, like a movie like about sex that was about filming sex, you know?
Yeah.
And James Spader and I think Peter Gallagher was in it, but Annie McDowell opens it and she's at a therapist office and she's complaining about, or just like, she's like, I don't know what is going to happen with all the trash. Like I'm worried about what's going to happen with the world's trash. Like, do you ever obsess over something that's like, you can never solve, but like,
I think about what happens with trash. I guess sewage is a big one. Where does the sewage
like,
go?
where does it all go?
That was recently,
stressful.
apparently the ocean. I learned that from
You know
Ted
that in the
Lasso, like 2
Maldives,
weeks ago.
I went to the Maldives with an ex, and I found out, because like it's all these gorgeous like pristine islands, and of course like as a comic I can't enjoy it. I have to be like, where's all the trash? Like, what do you do with it? And they're like, oh, there's one island that we dispose of all our trash.
Trash
It's just
Island?
Trash Island. And I was like, can someone take me there? And I couldn't get the hotel. I was like, this is a very fancy resort, and I would like to go to Trash Island and see it. And they're like, ma'am, it's not safe to go there. I'm like, just let me bolt by Trash Island. Like, is it just like a mound of trash?
That is a good point. We are in New York City too. We could track down. Probably got some gross ones around here.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's somewhere, dude.
I've lived here my whole life. With Staten Island. I feel like it's just on Staten Island. I feel like that's what Staten Island is. I don't really know.
Have you ever unfollowed an OnlyFans girl, and why?
Have you ever unfollowed an OnlyFans
Or
girl?
have seen someone like dwindle?
Oh, you mean like unsubscribe from
yeah,
them?
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah, all the time.
but why? What makes you subscribe, and what makes you unsubscribe?
Well, I mean, listen, I'll subscribe solely, like I've said on the show a million times. There's few greater joys in life than seeing a pair of boobs that you previously was unseen, and then you finally see them.
That's like such a. Can I break that down? Because that's
Absolutely.
fascinating. And do you think it's like once the spell is broken,
Yes.
you then have to move on to the next chase, kind of?
I mean, 100%.
It's
That's
like whack-a-mole or something.
100,000%. I say it all the time. I don't even think it's really like even a sexual thing per se.
Do you think that I mean, I think
It's more just-
we're wired to look for nipples.
It's more just seeing the mystery. It's like a whodunit film. You find out who the killer is, and then you're done.
I mean, it's like literally like we are wired to nipples get darker when we
it's just the
breastfeed to
best.
look for nipple. But is any part of it like not a game, but of like thinking, like when I talk to someone on the phone that I don't know, I'll kind of guess what they look like. And then I'll be like, I was pretty close. Do you feel like you know what the boob looks like and you're trying to just like.
Yes. Like I've said a lot of times, I've told a few girls on the show, I think it would be smart or like a fun game if they didn't post nudes, and the one time they finally decide to post nudes, they'll post like 4 different pair of tits, and you got to guess which one is theirs.
Oh, that's so
Ooh.
funny.
That's fun, right?
It's like a puzzle game.
It's
like there's
truly,
something.
I mean, there's just something, it's not even, literally not even a sexual thing. It's just something you want to see, and then you see it.
But and do you think that once that magic dies, because like the guy that I'm dating, he hasn't watched porn in like 10 years. Like he's just like, there's some guys that are kind of like, that are kind of like, no, he really kind of just, he thinks it's kind of gay. Like he's like, I don't like watching it with dudes, because then I'm like, he's like, I can't hear guys be like, oh, like he's just like, that grosses me out, but watching it off is kind of weird. And so he was just watching girl on girl, and then he said he started just watching one girl, just masturbating.
Dating a 9th grader?
Look, in LA, we like him young.
Yes.
And he said, he was like, yeah. And then I went to this girl, it was like a video where she was like making herself come, and I went back again, and it was like, just wasn't the same. And I was like, you mean you were like monogamous with a video?
Uh-huh.
But like just naturally the magic kind of dies.
That's the thing that a lot of girls will say is when a lot of them will start off not post nudity, then when they finally post nudity, they'll see their numbers go down. But I know.
Well, it's like I got what I needed.
Exactly. I know a lot of girls that have been on the show that don't post nudity, and they're making like $200K a month.
And what are they posting? Just like
hand bras. Dudes are horny. We're always going to go back to try to see it. It's not about
showing it all, but a lot of the girls do well. They're like doing like putting zucchinis in their pussies too.
Exactly.
But for a different reason.
It
How do you
goes
feel
both
about
ways.
porn being on Twitter? Like
it's a little too much.
Can I tell you? Because Angela White comes to the party, a couple porn stars, and I follow them on Twitter, and I literally, it's like Ukraine death count, and then just like it's like it's a wild thing to mix with your news feed.
Yeah, it's tough when you want to show them the Twitter and you see Ukraine death count like 50 likes, and then Angela White has a dildo up her pussy and literally has 50,000 likes.
Yeah.
Angela White's stats on Twitter are psychotic.
But you don't want to like a death count. Maybe you
just
could
maybe like retweet it to let people know. But
I had to mute Rochelle Ryan because
she's a lot. Yeah. Look at Angela White's Twitter stats.
Rochelle Ryan. What's that one?
She comes on my other podcast a lot. She's like a recurring guest, and like literally, it just looks like I'm looking at porn when I'm like scrolling.
Well, it's also Joey Diaz. I don't know if you know the comic Joey Diaz, really good friend of mine. He'll retweet like wild porn and in the morning, like 8 a.m. and just be like, tremendous. And like proud of you, girl. And I just am like, dude, this started my day on a wild.
I mean, dude, Angela White, her pin tweet right now is just her topless. It has 32,000 likes.
I think her boobs they look weirdly real.
They're real.
That's nuts. Actually, like that kind of like dense, hard boob. She's so cute. Hold on, this is her the other day.
32,000 likes.
This is, by the way, getting a text from her is so hilarious, dude. She's so like cool. So I was like, hey, like, you know, thanks for coming to the show. But sure, sorry for the late reply. Only just got home from being destroyed on set. I took that video at halftime and only got crazier from there. Oh wait, no, sorry. This one is better. She goes, sorry, I didn't text back. I just took 2 dicks on a set for Brazzers. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, she's the best.
Like, the coolest. And then she also did a parody of Two Broke Girls, Porn, which is the show that I created.
I'm assuming she played the Kat Dennings role.
I mean, yeah. I haven't seen it, but I want to watch it.
She did.
How do you watch it? Can we watch? Because I also told her, I was like, let's do for OnlyFans. I want to write and direct some porn that's like funny or something. Or like we could do like a reboot of her Two Broke Girls one, and I can like be a part of it in some way. But like, don't you feel like porn that's like has a story is kind of dwindling?
I'm not a fan of it personally.
Yeah.
I say a lot of time, like we've obviously had porn girls on the show. We've had Angela White, and she is more of a classic porn star. I definitely prefer when I'm watching my free time, like a cell phone video over a
because you
fully
don't want it to
produced
feel
video.
too. I feel like there was a lot of yoga balls there for a minute. I feel like porn was a lot of yoga balls and gyms for a sec.
Like I don't need the very 1080i high def photos from set. I just want a cell phone video and I'm good to go.
What's up with the MILF situation? I have some theories about why MILF porn's popular.
Please talk to me.
Oh wow, she has great nipples. Well, a couple things. MILF number one, you know you're not watching child porn.
You're definitely not. And you know what? Speaking of,
I know a lot of guys who are like, there's a little Catholic schoolgirl uniform. Like, you don't know what you're watching sometimes. When I go on like Pornhub or something, I'm always like checking out the categories. They're always like, is like teen or something. And I'm like,
you have a go-to category?
Not, you know what? Actually, amateur kind of is my go-to.
Cell phone stuff.
I don't watch a lot of porn. And I just get too distracted. Like, I need something really simple. I like a camera angle over a girl who's just like boobs are moving. Like, kind of like it's.
I get it.
You know what I mean? That's like kind of all I need in a way. Like, I don't want to see the guy's tattoo. I don't want to see his no fear tattoo or
That's
whatever.
a problem with OnlyFans girls. Let me tell you that.
A lot of tattoos.
They're you know, sorry if OnlyFans has been huge for the ink community in terms of sex. Every girl's banging dudes. Every girl is banging guys that look like Dave Navarro. Every single one. It's crazy.
But also like, so MILF. So you're like, okay, I for sure this isn't underage. This isn't gonna bite me in the
Definitely
ass
not.
in 10 years that I've watched something, whatever. Number two, MILFs like could also be guys that are like, I think a lot of guys start jerking off in marriages when their wife gets pregnant and has a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe guys are checking to see if like their wife's body's normal.
I would assume it's more younger guys. There's that thing installed in our brains of, I guess, I mean, she in American Pie with Stiff Bush Mom.
Oh yeah.
It's just the idea of fucking a MILF, a beautiful older woman. There's just something I guess the experience factor that's in your brain about it.
She knows what she's doing. You don't have to worry about not knowing what you're doing because she'll handle it.
There's something in your brain that just attracts the MILFs.
And you know what else? I think
it
they're
is.
also like MILFs are like grateful. They're not going to reject you. They're not going to say you have a small dick or something.
Like, I mean, I would fully admit, if I'm at a bar and I see a beautiful looking 25-year-old or a beautiful looking 40-year-old woman, I'd probably go to the 40-year-old woman first.
And that is sort of like, because you don't want to have to, you know, she has good credit.
There's just like I don't know. They're just, I also, older women tend to like me better.
Yeah, I just think that like
older women care about
got their
personality
shit
more.
together. Like,
So,
dude, I was in my 20s. I was such a fucking punk. I was like, how am I? Like flirting with the 25-year-olds. It's just like, you just like, can you take a picture of me? You're just like,
that's no fun.
I know. Like the guy
Sorry.
that I'm seeing, I'm like, no, please. I was like, why don't you date someone younger? He's 29, I'm 40. He's like, why don't you date like a hot like 22-year-old? And he was like, and talk about what? He was like dating younger girls now. Like you're basically just like taking pictures of them in front of walls that have wings on them and shit. Like you're a photographer.
Steady shot in Nashville there, but fair.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just saying, well, when we start watching porn, we're like 12, 13. So like at that time, like everyone seems so much older. So like when I like would look at like a 25-year-old girl, I'd be like, oh, that might as well be a MILF. To like my 12-year-old brain. So I think I just got programmed to like.
And also like Playboy bunnies, like the way they did their makeup, it was always like this brown, like nude lipstick. And like really, it just looked older in a weird way. They all looked like 30 to me.
That is one of the crazier things now, being older, being 26. It's crazy that it's weird in my brain that these people are younger than me sometimes.
Oh yeah.
That breaks my brain. Like, you know, Margot Robbie was 22 when she was in Wolf of Wall Street.
That's nuts.
Isn't that fucking
That's
terrifying?
Nuts. That's nuts. Yeah, she has like a Kim Basinger type face where she looks young and beautiful, but she doesn't feel young.
22.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
22. I mean,
that's the only. I mean, that's as old as Leonardo DiCaprio will have.
That's just strictly.
We knew she had to be young if she
Thank
was
God
doing
she got the part then.
Makeout scene with him, but it's interesting. I'm curious if the popularity of categories in like Pornhub are also as popular in OnlyFans. Also with the MILF thing, when I was making the robot, I went to the sex robot factory and got one made to like look like me. And so I had to pick out nipples. There's a like wall of nipples. And they said the number one request of men that customize their sex robot dolls, or even if it's not a robot, just a doll, is nipples that are larger than the boob. Large.
I'm a large nipple guy. I'm down with it.
Then the whole thing?
As opposed to a really small nipple. I think I'm down for a large nipple.
For sure.
Like large, dark nipples, I guess, is like a pretty big fetish.
I'm definitely more fan of the darker nipples as well. What kind of room? I might just make my own sex toy now.
Yeah, you can cut like
there's just a wall of nipples. That sounds like heaven, dude. Was it in person?
Yeah, I went in person. Like at the end of my 4th special, you can see at the end, like me at the robot factory, like picking everything out and like customizing the face and everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna start putting her on OnlyFans because she like talks.
Should.
I put like Chat GPT in her head. It's just like a whole thing.
Speaking of that, I did subscribe to her OnlyFans today to check it out.
I've done nothing on there yet.
I saw that you posted her. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, did I?
There was a topless photo of the robot.
The robot.
Oh
yeah,
there was a topless robot. Photo.
You know what I did while I was? This is really, I can't believe I'm admitting this. So self-destructive. When I was working on the special, like I really was trying to get into the mindset of like why people would be into fucking a robot, and like, you know, because guys also start to anthropomorphize them. They're on the chat rooms. They're like, hey, I don't know what to do when I leave her. I feel bad that I'm leaving her alone. And another guy's like, I just leave the TV on when I leave, so she's not.
Stop.
Swear to God. It's like an extension of like when I see a Roomba stuck under a couch, I'm like, oh, but like, you know, like you anthropomorphize something, but it's like they really start to connect, and they're like, when I go to the bathroom, I feel like I have to close the door now. Like I feel like she can hear me. It's a fucking trip. And but so I started watching sex doll porn just to see like what that world was and how many views it was getting. It's not very popular, but I didn't hate it.
What's up, Biz?
Hi.
How are you? Sorry.
I didn't hate it. I kind of liked it because it was like, I don't have to look at some girl's bruise or some tattoo that says breathe. I'm not worried about anyone. There was something kind of like hot about it.
It's fair.
Watching a guy fuck a doll is hot.
It's the dude fucking the doll?
Yeah. There was something about it.
How do they do it? Is he switching their positions? How do these dolls work?
Yeah, you put them down and you just fuck them. But I think it's also like a lot of porn, the girls doing all the work and doing these backflips and stuff. And I'm like, I need the fucking man to do some. I want to see some fucking plowing. I want to see some hard won fucking Cornhusker plowing.
Dude.
And so just watching a guy fuck, there is also something so primal and desperate about it and like kind of sick that I kind of was into it.
That terrifies me.
I also feel like in porn, like
this is iRobot coming alive.
I'm not trying to be this person, but it's like a lot of times you see these girls and and you know they're just like, get over yourself.
That's why I want the cell phone stuff. I feel like the cell phone videos are more authentic, you know?
Then I can't do the cell phone videos because then I worry that you can't put this in the cloud, bitch. You can't put this on your cell phone. Are you insane?
Oh, they put it in the cloud. It's there for the cloud. I know there was a mishap with that. When you had that mishap happen, like
my
4
nude
years
leak
ago,
was so fucking dumb. Count on me to have a nude leak. Like I have so many good nudes in my phone. Like I'm a pro at shooting nudes. I got my angle. I got my whole situation. Like I know what to do. And dude, weed should not be legal in California. It should not. I want to go back. Dude, edibles are a nightmare.
I saw you actually tweeted once weed became legal in California, I feel like you forgot that it is legal.
That's exactly what happens.
I kind of agree with that about
Yeah,
fake
yeah.
IDs almost.
Oh,
I feel like
interesting.
It makes me not want to go to bars now that I could get into bars. It's so much more fun with fake IDs.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. No, I just know that like sometimes when I'll travel for like Northern California, Southern California, like I'll put a vape like in a tampon wrapper so that when it goes through, they won't check it. And then I'll get there and I'm like, this is legal. Like this is such a like creepy move to like
it's so
hide something that's legal. But the edibles, dude, that shit was like, they have not worked out the science of cooking it and how it should disperse or something. And I had like someone had given me an edible and I was like, totally like thought nothing was going to happen. And then I was like, oh, I'll just take another one. I guess this one didn't work. And then I was just like in my bathtub, so fucking high. And then I felt the need to do some Instagram story about who fucking knows. And I was doing the entire story just with my tit out. And then I get out of the bathtub and I'm getting like all these texts like, Whitney, your tits on the internet. Like I'd been filming it, take it down. I feel like everything's fine. And then like 6 months later, I got this like email from an AOL address, by the way, which is the most traumatic part of this whole thing.
Can't trust a guy in the
This motherfucker from an AOL, like, and he was like, you know, had taken a screen grab and was like, how much to, you know, it was, my tit looked like fine. It was just, I had like I looked like Steve Buscemi. I'm like wet. It looked like I was in a bathtub. Like, it was just like, I was like, can I send you a good one? Like, I was like trying to negotiate with the person extorting me, but I didn't press charges because it's like, it was probably just like some kid who.
Hey, 4 years later. OnlyFans.
4 years later, OnlyFans, bitch.
How about that? It was like a little trail. That was the beginning of the trail.
I know, but I feel like it was just like some kid fucking around. And like when I was broke, I did all kinds of weird, desperate shit. Like, you know, so I didn't pay him. And what I did was I just posted it so that he couldn't sell it.
Power moves.
You know what I mean? Well, yeah, it wasn't that like impressive. Like it was kind of embarrassing. Everyone was like, oh, like Whitney Nude League. And it was just kind of like a downer.
I feel like it's the internet. And new stuff happens every day.
Yeah, and then I got fucking kicked off Instagram because if I posted on purpose so he couldn't sell it. But then if you violate the terms of agreement, like I had to like
Instagram,
I couldn't get back on.
Their algorithm's been fucking me so hard recently.
Right? I feel like it's also bad. I don't follow any of these people. Yeah, like, don't they show people now that you don't even follow?
Yeah, it's the worst.
Don't you think Instagram's gonna be over soon?
I like Instagram. I like it more than Twitter. I'm not a Twitter guy. Instagram has been getting on my nerves though. Like I literally like a month ago, some guy commented on my called me a virgin. And I just wrote back, yeah, I am a virgin. Girls are gross. And I got that taken down for bullying.
Are you a virgin?
No.
Oh.
I just think
that's
it's funny
though.
to say.
That's really funny.
God, you probably think I was a virgin just because I said that. But no, I'm not.
no, I'm just curious.
But no, I just said girls are gross.
Why is that an insult also?
What?
Like someone said like you're a virgin.
Oh, there's so many comments on my videos.
Burn.
It is I get it. It's a funny visual, me interviewing all these beautiful OnlyFans girls.
Yeah.
I get it. It's funny. So a lot of guys will be like, dude, this guy's
So it's really just about like being honest about what it is. Like as soon as I wasn't able to because I was like editing the roast and my mom died and I had all this like shit going on. I couldn't post and I was just really transparent. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to post this for all. Like, guys, please don't subscribe yet. Like, I'm not able to do this consistently yet because I think that for me, it's like it's not so much about what you're posting, whatever. It's about making sure that you're not like catfishing or like lying about what you're doing. But I will say that the messages I've gotten on OnlyFans are the most gracious, kind, thoughtful. Like, I'm so sorry you lost your mother. Like, thank you so much for doing this. Like, it's not, whereas like I go on Instagram, it's just like fucking dick pic, old cunt, fuck you. Like, it's just sort of like, it's like such a conscientious like group of people.
Dude, people have a bad stigma about OnlyFans. OnlyFans is great.
No, it's also, by the way, if it wasn't successful, no one would give a shit. It's like, it's stigmatized because like, you didn't think of it. You're jealous because you didn't think of it. It's like got so successful so fast. And
I would also say that people that are paying to see you or whatever, DM you, they're less likely to be mean to you.
Okay. It's already a subset of people. Well, that's what I thought about doing comedy on there because, like, you know, if you're going to OnlyFans TV, like, you're already someone that is like not going to be like an uptight asshole who's like a religious zealot or whatever the fuck. Do you think comedy will do well on there? Do you think that like?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm agreeing with you. I love roast. I like uncensored comedy. I'm a big fan of comedy. I mean, I feel like I know Rogan just opened the Comedy Mothership in Austin. In fact, that's obviously going to be. Again, I saw that. In fact, that's obviously going to be super successful because it's a place where comics can be comics.
Yeah.
So on OnlyFans, I don't see why not either. And I was a fan of roast. I love roast. So.
And I also did this. Sorry.
Like growing up, I would be excited for a Comedy Central roast, and that no longer exists.
Yeah.
So if this is the place for roast, then why not?
Yeah. And also, like, the first show that I ever did, I kind of even forgot about this. I blocked this out, was a show called Live Nude Comedy. It was stand-up comedians and burlesque dancers. I love burlesque. It's like, to me, burlesque is like the best things from like stripping and the best things from comedy, because a lot of burlesque is like silly and it's like a slow tease with like a dumb costume. And, you know, it's not like, you know, it's just like kind of like rompy and goofy. So I had done that and I'm like, I kind of want to just bring that back. It's like the same space. Let's not take ourselves so seriously. It's like we can't. And I think that the further away comedy is from sex work, the bigger a pedestal they put us on. And that's when this turns into this, you're punching down, you're canceled, you're not allowed to say this, you're not allowed to say that.
Yeah. I mean, everything you just said, couldn't echo it more. It sounds great. I mean, obviously the dream of a roast is to just be able to watch.
Because like, you know what would be amazing if like, and maybe it's you, who knows, but like if, you know, Howard Stern had been doing it 10 years, like today he should be on OnlyFans. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
If like, do you know what I'm saying? Like that would be such a perfect fit for what he was doing.
100%. I mean, realistically, if I was a successful person with a lot of followers, like even a comic, a model, anything, I would probably make one. Why not?
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
It's like your storefront. I mean, it's like silly not to at this point. You just have to be consistent.
100%. And with anything, you have to be consistent. I mean,
and then when do you tip? When do you tip someone?
Ooh, once again, I really don't buy many videos. I subscribe to the girls that have on the show, and I'm like, I guess I would tip if I wanted to, like,
because like I like posted a couple things and I got a couple tips and I was like, like it was so nice, but I was also kind of insulted by it because I was like, well, I'm doing fine. Like I don't like.
I mean, I tip at
like
clubs. I tip at restaurants.
Yeah.
I
no,
really
a ton.
tip
But I just like
OnlyFans.
because I already felt bad charging people on OnlyFans, but I was putting a lot of like work into the roast stuff. But so I was already felt weird charging, and then someone tipped me. I was like, oh no, you don't like. I felt like bad taking it. I think
that's just the boys just being generous.
I know, and
they just want you to notice them.
But
I think that's cool. Like I think it's like. You know, I don't know. I think there's this moment where everyone's like, all these white men, straight men are trash. Men are trash. It's like you're going out of your way to only focus on the like couple people that are assholes. Like, so I really always want to talk about like the cool things where I'm like, okay, this guy is giving me an extra $5 because he's like supporting a woman in comedy. I'm going to focus on that instead of the comments where someone calls me a busted whore. Like, just choose a better data set.
Agreed. Hey, can I ask you a few questions?
Oh, please, sorry,
random
I'm rambling.
Questions? No, you're good.
Please.
I just got a few random questions.
Oh my God, I
want to go
love
through.
that shit.
I've been going through your social media all day, so I got a few. You did put a video up on Twitter. It was a comedy. It was a video of you doing comedy, and it said that maybe dudes should be able to call the police on a girl 3 times after 3 times dinner, and then she ghosts you. Obviously, it's comedy, so you're joking.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that, though?
So this was a
3 dates.
bit, I think, in my HBO special about when I first started making money. I started realizing like, oh, this is why, and paying for guys, because, you know, the whole thing of when you start making money, it was like the best thing ever for me. Cause I was like, oh, like now this opens up a whole new pool of broke guys that like I couldn't date before because I didn't have money. So now I do. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I don't have to like think about, you know, what someone does for a living when you're like young and broke and you're like, I can't date a broke guy because I'm broke. And then I started dating broke guys and like paying for them because I'm like, guys have paid for me.
We get a lot of that on the show.
But then I started realizing like there was this, I mean, I was also young and immature, but I had this like scorecard attached, which would be like, oh, really? You're going to say that after I bought you that bagel? Like in my head, it was like was adding all the money up I was spending on him. And like I would like judge his behavior against it. And I was like, oh my God, and I kind of realized I was like, this is why men hate us. Like we owe you so much money. Like, of course you're like, I always was like, why are you mad all of a sudden? Why are you freaking out? It's like, oh, because you just tallied that fucking bill or whatever. And so for me, I just was like, it's such a better system to not pay for each other until you're sold on each other. Like, why wouldn't we just do like 6 months, we're going to split the bill. And then if in 6 months we're into each other, then we'll start, and then we'll start covering each other because it's built so much resentment. But yeah, I think the joke version of something was like, if like, cause girls also, I did it, you know, like I would go on dates with guys cause I was hungry and I needed a ride or whatever. So it was just sort of like, you know, I think the joke was something of like, if you have go on 3 dates with a girl and pay for dinner and you don't hear from her, like you should be able to call the police.
That's
like
exactly
you should be able to get your money back. Like
fair.
With Venmo now, you also can't just disappear.
You can't be the guy that Venmo's girl.
There was a minute when I think it was like MySpace or like had just started where voicemails were going around of like men screaming at women that they went on internet dates with and like paid for them, but they never heard back. Mm-hmm. There was like a couple like infamous ones. Yeah,
but then again, now that I'm saying it that way, you can't scream at a girl, obviously. If you're going out with a girl, you have to like her enough to be okay to lose the money.
Also, why go to dinner? To froyo for the first night. Get drinks the second night. Why don't we just sit down?
You gotta...
And I don't need to like deep throat a veal chop in front of a new person. Like like dates, like first date, second. I don't even like to bring food into it at all.
Yeah, really?
I don't. If
So
I see
Whitney
a guy,
Cummings' first date is a light date.
if I see a guy eat a salad, I just can't. I can't watch. I can't.
Yeah, I got to do light bites.
I can't like ugh.
Sushi.
I don't want to see it in your mouth. Yeah, I just think I'd like drinks, froyo, go for a walk.
Twirling of the pasta.
Yeah, why does dinner have to be
Fair.
and I also have such high standards for how men have to treat wait staff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that if it's just over.
Good way to weed out the guys, though, if they're mean.
Yeah.
Another thing you tweeted about you one time broke your shoulder snowboarding to impress a guy. What would you say is the most out there thing you've done to impress a guy?
Oh my God. I mean, Jesus Christ. Pretend to like their kid. No.
Yeah. Dunk on the kid.
I mean, the most biggest thing I've done to try to impress.
Out there thing
most
you've
out
done.
there thing I've done to try to impress a guy. I mean, I did used to date this guy who was like very busy, and we would like catch moments he like worked as a like producer, and I was doing something, and so we'd be able to like see each other 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there on the same like studio lot, and like have like quickies in bathrooms and stuff.
Hell,
and
Whitney Cummings.
Very busy person. I am such a perfectionist about things and have kind of weird wiring on what men find attractive. I would go to Agent Provocateur, which is this lingerie company, and I would get the most beautiful lingerie, like corsets, like wild shit, and wear it under my clothes all day, like just in case, we saw each other. And it was such a miss because it was like a corset, so uncomfortable. Like I'm sitting in case I run into him. And then even if we did and he saw that I was wearing it out, he's like, why are you wearing that to work? Like it was like,
yeah, you got to be comfy.
But it also just feels weird. Like, who are you wearing that for? And it's like, you. It's like, well, what if you hadn't seen me? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. This is like too committed to being sexy to the point of it being like awkward. So I think I definitely went through like a phase of like, if I wear beautiful lingerie, I'm going to be sexy. But usually that dampens the mood because guys just want to like put the fucking panties to the side and fuck you. It's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, will you please appreciate the French lace? And there's a button, I need, it's expensive.
Yeah, I feel like a lingerie, you got to maybe like schedule a night for lingerie. There should be a lingerie night.
But
lingerie
you also,
to work, I just feel bad for you, and you got to be comfy at work.
Some of it is like, but also I feel like guys are kind of more into just like Calvin Klein white, like little boy shorts and just like, I feel like, I don't know, it gets a little gay when you're like, what is this neon pink? I'm a drag queen at this point. Like, yeah. I don't think guys are like, ooh, lace.
I like a garter belt. I'm a fan of the garter belt.
Garter belt.
I'm definitely a fan of the garter belt.
Like
stuff.
I
think that comes from your.
But
your
those
legs
you can
up
keep
there.
on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that you can keep on, and then
I'm good with garter belt. Outside of that, we're good. I have a comedy question for you. This is more of a personal question, just because I've been a fan of this for a while. I would say the roast of Donald Trump was one of my favorite roasts ever.
Oh wow!
I'm not going to ask about Donald Trump, because I've already been said 1,000 times.
Go for it.
But
people often tell me that they're like, you're why he won. That roast is very much thought of as his it was a play in his playbook of to get liked and to get sort of popular sort of opinion to soften on him, because we didn't even realize it when we were there. Sorry. But everyone was doing jokes about he might run for president. And we're like, oh, that's that's never gonna happen. Don't even write jokes about it. We didn't even really address it. But then after we roasted him and he went up, it was kind of we were gobsmacked, because he started giving a speech as if he was he literally was this is what's wrong with America. People are mean to each other, and we just need people to be nicer to each other. And he's like, there's these Hollywood elites beating up on me. He just instantly, we were like, oh shit. Because what the roast does is it makes people that are, irrelevant relevant again, or it just makes them likable, because you're taking hits so much. And that was the first step. So a lot of people, we didn't know what we were doing.
So my question, though, from that roast, as a comic, which you're obviously a very accomplished comic, and as you're saying before, how sometimes there's maybe featherweights or lightweights going up there.
Yeah.
What the fuck were you guys thinking when the situation was up there?
Oh my God.
Because that's a really weird video.
That was so unfair. I mean, it was just this poor guy, it's same with having people that aren't comics on. You're just the most popular person on a reality show just gets a spot with all these
I love the situation. One of my favorite, I love the Jersey Shore, but that was a terrifying few minutes to watch.
It was definitely, I was trying to be supportive about it,
Yeah.
because like, how would you know what you're doing? I mean, with the amount of fentanyl and tanning lotion that he probably has absorbed in
They're in New York, let it out.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, I just like, when I see people do stuff like that, I'm just like, oh, like you were going to hate yourself when you like sober up and play this back in 3 years. Like, this is going to be such a bummer. Like, and then I'm like, do you have no one around you that loves you? Like, how could anyone around you let you say yes to this?
That was a tough watch.
What happened to those? Like, I think about, here's the thing about like the OnlyFans stars and stuff. Like, I feel like that's a sustainable lifestyle. When you look at like reality TV and like people that come and go like that, I'm like, that.
What if I were to tell you Jersey Shore is still on the air?
Nuh-uh.
Oh
Sure
yeah.
is.
Oh yeah.
No.
It sure is.
Family reunion.
Family vacation.
Family
With
vacation.
the same cast?
Same cast.
I hosted MTV New Year's Eve one year with
Same
the
cast.
Jersey Shore. I think it was like
It's one of my favorite
2010.
shows of all time, for the record. It was
I mean, it just entertainment, like,
that's
wall
still-
to wall.
to this day, I don't think I could name a bigger phenomenon just like pop culture wise.
It's
almost.
so true. And then Sebastian Maniscalco got really big at the time too, because he was kind of the antithesis of like
he
Italian
took the Italian,
trash.
yeah, he got the
took
Italian
like,
stuff
no,
now.
this is how we live.
Those damn wops, I'm Italian.
Yeah,
fucker.
why was that
But,
so? I mean, the Real World, I guess, was really
I
big.
mean, let me tell you, we obviously have a lot of people come through here in our old office. They came one day and it was like the Beatles were here. The place shut down. It literally shut down. There's just something about them. I think it was also the timing, 2009.
Mhm.
There were so many people that just were in high school during it or their 20s. Or I was in
Mhm.
8th grade when it came out. And it was just the biggest. It was
But like, were you
phenomenal.
watching it? Like, did you like them for real, or it was more like, that's my thing with them, because like when I was around them, I was sort of like, I feel like everyone makes fun of you, but they're like, hey, can I get a photo?
Yeah,
and they're
I
kind of
think-
mocking you. It's like, must be a weird way to live.
It's a weird way to live, but I guess when you got to just be like, hey, I'm rich off it, so who gives a fuck, right? But
yeah, but like there's a lot of times when it comes to, I mean, especially I've worked for MTV, I did Punks, like a very different show, but a lot of these people do not have money. You'd be surprised. Like they get really, really famous, but they don't have money, and then they're paying all these people and have lawsuits, and then they have an
the
overhead.
thing with Jersey Shore too, I guess that's different for me. I guess like growing up in New York, Long Island, that's like our people. That's like that's our species. It was,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like the rest of the country's first introduction.
Oh, it was
to
like almost
them.
being
Yeah.
proud in a way of like.
I mean, I'm not a Guido by any means. I'm Italian, but I'm not a Guido like that at all. But like, I've grew up with people that are just like that, so I have known it. But it was, I guess, more of the introduction to the country over.
It's
Yeah,
like
coming from Louisiana, that's where I
Yeah.
came from, and like I was in college when it came out, and we would watch it at pre-games, just like these are circus
Like people in
animals.
Kansas
Like,
must have thought they
Literally,
were
it's
people
exactly
in Kansas
it.
must have thought they were aliens, like literal
Yeah.
aliens.
Uh-huh.
If you
Yeah.
watch season 1 of Jersey Shore,
Oh, it's wild.
That's a different species
Yeah.
of human being.
Do you remember when Dooney and Burke paid Snooki $1 million to stop carrying their purses?
I don't.
I
but
forgot
that's
about
amazing.
Because it was so bad for their brand.
But I mean, I love them. Like there are a few people there's a few people that have been here that come in dead starstruck when I come in. Like I don't even look at them because I'm so starstruck.
I love
That's
Snooki now. I've partied with her before. She's great.
It's also
Yeah.
like, but I just can never tell if it's like, it's my nightmare to be having people laugh at me when I'm trying to be serious, or like that I'm not in on the joke or something. But it's like, I guess for them, it's kind of like Schadenfreude, like you're watching, you're getting entertainment out of someone else's like self-humiliation in a way. But I think there's also something of like there's something, it's nice to be around people that don't take themselves too seriously. I think when you hang out with them, you realize how seriously everybody else takes themselves. They're just like, we drink, we party, we're
And
like,
it's just
and you're
fun.
like, that's not so bad. Why can't we just,
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're just great. I mean,
they're just enjoying life while they can and like living like there's no fucking tomorrow. And the rest of us are like, I need to start a business and I need to change the world. And let's talk about Greta Thunberg and global warming. They're just like, let's get wasted and party
and
every
fucking
night.
fist pump. I had a fist pump like champ shirt. I had a fist pump like champions t-shirt. Who cares?
Yeah, it's just like
they're the best. Moral of the story: Jersey Shore, great television.
Jersey Shore. I
The
didn't
best
realize it was
television.
still on.
I have another comedy question for you. Since like quarantine started, I've read one book in my life, and it was Don Rickles' autobiography.
Oh, wow.
And I've just been loving Don Rickles since. I watch his YouTube videos like every day.
Wow.
You ever have a Don Rickles?
Yeah,
run-in?
I met Don Rickles.
I had to ask.
A couple times. Yeah, Don Rickles, one of the old sort of preeminent roast comedians. Don Rickles. I'm too young to have been known him a lot when he was alive, but one year there was a toast of Don Rickles. Like he was like the go-to Friars Club roast guy, just like a savage. Jim Norton played him in The Irishman.
Yes,
I hadn't
in
seen it,
Scorsese,
but yeah,
yeah.
so it's like, so people probably know of him. And it was a toast of Don Rickles, like the Friars Club was doing it instead of a roast. He was had gotten really old.
A little celebration.
I was that?
A little celebration.
Yeah, and so it was them just giving him whatever praise, and I was sitting in the audience, and Joan Rivers was there, Like I was at like the celebrity table and a lot of like really weird shit happened. So I couldn't really process, but I only went to that because I was a fan, but I was like too shy to introduce myself. Like I cannot take a picture with a celebrity or someone it's.
Is there people out there that you've had that you've just loved so much you've had to?
Ice Cube's wife, Ice T's wife, sorry, not
Coco?
Cube, wife, Coco.
Yep.
Coco, I was like, can I please get a photo? Like, I have to.
Yeah.
But for the
You know,
most
she
part,
invented Titty Tuesday.
I did not. That's big.
that tracks. I love her. I love someone that knows who they are and isn't that is such a refreshing energy when you meet someone and someone knows exactly who they are.
Yeah, I'm the same way with people I would like really die and ask for a photo for. Like I said, people come in here. Some people I'm too scared of, and it's never someone massively famous. Like I think one of my top is like Artie Lang. Like a few times I've seen Artie Lang in person. I put my head down.
Wow, where'd you see him?
I went to they actually did a roast of Lawrence Taylor. I went to one night, but it was before a Billy Joel concert, so I think
When it was recently.
It's like maybe 2 years ago.
How does his nose look?
Flat.
Yeah.
But I mean, like whenever I see Artie Lang, he's been here a few times. I literally look down. I don't even ask for a picture because I just love Artie Lang.
What's he up to? I mean, I haven't.
I think he's just maybe doing comedy. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I just love him. He's one of my favorites.
It is wild that it's like he's never been brought up.
One thing you tweeted, I do want to talk about. I'm seeing. Sorry, I wasn't tweeting. You have a saved story on Instagram about airport madness. What is your number one airport pet peeve?
Oh, Jesus Christ! When people like take up 6 seats for their bags, like they'll put like 3 bags and then like their trash and then like their keys are on one, and you're like, dude, it drives me. I don't even want to sit next to you. It just like bothers me that you think like, you know, it's like or like when you go on Southwest and you know everyone has to take a seat, you know, and someone will put something down to like just try to make it seem like it's full. Like someone's gonna have to sit here. Might as well be me. Like this, and then you're like can't make eye contact with a person because they have like a piece of trash next to them, and we have to like pretend like, homie, like I'm gonna, you know, it's just like so annoying in airports when people think they're invisible, and I think like FaceTiming, like people yelling, like for some reason people think their phones are like they have to yell into them.
Yes, I think you feel
that kind of bothers me. I kind of like airport shit. Like I spend so much time in the airport that I've had to develop a positive relationship with it.
Like a Delta Sky Club.
Or also, how about when you're like doing whatever the fuck you're doing and someone leaves their computer and they're like, can I leave this here with you? And you're like, yeah, but if someone steals it, I'm not gonna fight them. Can you watch this for me? I'm like, I'm not gonna like watch it hard.
That's very, very fair too. I mean, I don't think I've ever had that happen. I know it's
you've never. I feel like
that's a whole Seinfeld.
I've never done that at the airport. I've never asked someone to watch.
All the time, they're like, can you watch my stuff? I'm like, I can't say no, but
if I gotta get up though, I'm getting up.
Yeah, but also it's like no one's at the airport. Like you have to get through the gate. No one's here to steal your shit.
Yeah.
No one wants more shit to carry.
That's fair.
Like I don't feel like this is where burglars come to burgle.
Yeah.
I did fly Spirit Airlines though. That was wild.
Really?
Oh, dude, it's wild. My travel agent was like, "I won't let you do this," because I was like, "I'm like so many comics they get popular. Like they start flying private. I'm like, dude, that's how you start sucking at comedy. You like get out of touch. So I'm like, the more successful I get, I'm like, I'm flying Spirit this week. Like I want to make sure like I'm like, you know what's going on in the zeitgeist. My travel agent was like, you can't do this. Fights break out on this airline. Like we're worried about
I would love to see Whitney Cummings.
I know. It was like, dude, I cannot wait. And sure enough, a fist fight broke out. It was the best day of my life.
Whitney Cummings, I cannot thank you enough for coming on. Thank you very, very much. This was a very fun hour.
Having me. I hope this
the
is
best.
okay. I have no idea what was expected.
Absolutely fantastic. I'm glad we had fun. Are we good?
Thank you. Yeah, I
Good
hope
stuff.
so. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Whitney,
you got to do something
thank
on
you
one
for
if we keep doing the roasts.
I would love to come out to LA and do one.
That'll
I'm
be
in.
fun.
Thank you so much, Whitney.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.